Ardublock to show you how to program a single servo motor on your Barnabas Bot. So we're going to move into the pins tab, which we're all familiar with. You've probably seen, as we've gone through the other lessons, these two off-colored blocks here. So one of them says servo. We have servo motors attached to our robot, so that is the appropriate motor block to grab. And you can see the servo block, like our other blocks, have two other inputs attached to that block. So this one, like all the others, expects you to designate the pin number. So that's the pin that you have your motor attached to on the robot. For us, we have our motors attached to pins 9, 10, and 11. So I'm just going to go ahead and put 9 here for this video. And then the angle is a little more complicated. So I want to talk about a couple of the common pitfalls when designating an angle before I go into that. So the first common pitfall is to pick a number outside the range of the motor. So try and remember that these servo motors are 180-degree rotation servo motors, meaning you can pick a number between 0 and 180 and expect good movement out of your motor from that. So your motor will likely behave if you pick one of those numbers. Now, if you picked a number outside the range, so let's say, for example, I pick 400, you know, my motor may behave, it may not. It's kind of hard to say. If I had to just make a guess as to what your motor would do, I would say it would move to the 180-degree position. It may just bug out instead. So I once again would recommend staying between 0 and 180 degrees. The second common pitfall is that people consider these to be angles of motion rather than angles of position. So for example, let's say I input the angle 0 and I went ahead and uploaded this to my robot. And let's say this pin 9 is attached to my left arm motor. So I upload that code to the robot and my left arm moves to a certain position, presumably, you know, the extent of its range of motion in one direction. So it moves as far as it can in one direction. That's where 0 is. And then after that, I change to 90 and I upload that code again. So what I should expect to see is the motor moving from the 0 position to the 90-degree position. So I should expect to see the arm move 90 degrees. And that is, in fact, what should happen. However, if I were to upload this code again, what should I see? Now, this is where the mistake kind of happens. So a lot of people would say, well, I should expect to see my motor move another 90 degrees. And that is not the case. So you previously uploaded code that told your motor to move to the 90-degree position, and now you're uploading that same code telling it to go to the same position. So because it's already in that position, it will stay put. Likewise, if you originally had your motor at like the 87-degree position, and then you change that to the 90-degree position, it's not going to move 90 degrees. It's only going to move 3 degrees to get to the point where you expect it, or where it was asked to. So now that we've talked about that, let's talk about maybe getting repeated motion. Because if I were to just upload this code, it would move one single time. And then if I wanted it to move again, I would input like a different angle, and then I would press upload again, and I would upload that to the robot, and it would move one time, and then it would be stuck there. So let's see if we can get repeated motion in our code. So let's say I want my left arm, or my robot's left arm, I'm sorry, to wave at me. So that would mean I would need it to be moving between 2 different positions. So to move between 2 different positions, I would need 2 different servo blocks. And I definitely want this to also say pin 9 because I want to affect the same motor. So let's do this. We'll say it's between the angle 180 and 1. So it's waving between those 2 angles. Now if I were to upload this code just as it is, I would probably see my left arm kind of bugging out a little bit. So I've run into the same problem that I had when I was trying the blinking light code. And that is just that I haven't allowed any time to take place between these 2 actions. So the Arduino is attempting to run this command, and then immediately after run this command, and then immediately after that come back to the top of the loop and run this command, and do that over and over and over. Far too fast for the servo to really get to either position. So I'm going to see some weird twitching motion that, you know, some of the kids think is pretty funny. They think it's enjoyable. They like it. But if we're trying to get like maybe a little more relaxed motion out of our robot, maybe something that is a little closer to the true like 180 to 1 positions, I would need to, like in the blinking light code, I would need to put delays, so some amount of duration for each action to occur. So why don't we take this, let's upload it to our robot, and let's just take a look and see what it does. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. All right. Okay, so here we have our robot moving its left arm back and forth, waving at us like we had expected it to. That's all I have for you guys this video. I will see you next time.